In Maya, I am going to start by preparing my interface for animation. The quickest and simplest way to do this is to go to the Workspace pull-down in the upper corner of the screen and change it from Maya Classic to Animation. This opens up a new window in the lower quadrant. This is called the Graph Editor. You can also find the Graph Editor under Windows, Animation Editors, Graph Editor. The Graph Editor will keep track of my animations and how they act. Before I can get into the details of the Graph Editor, I need to make an animation. So I will start by creating an object. I'll make a torus. That's my favorite polygonal primitive. And the animation I'm going to make is very simple. I'm going to have my torus float up into the air. To do this, I will need to set two keyframes, one at the beginning of the animation and one at the end of the animation. A keyframe is an important pose that I get to designate as an animator. The animation will happen in between the keyframes. That area is referred to as a tween. There are three different ways to set keyframes in Maya. The first is that I can press the S key on my keyboard. When I press S, you'll see a few things happen. First, in the channel box, all of the channels get a little red box. That red box indicates that there is keyframe data at this frame. Second, in the time slider, I get a red line by the number 1 that tells me that this is the location of a keyframe. And third, in my graph editor, I now see the object, all of its channels, and over here I can see two little diamonds. Those diamonds indicate keyframes. If I move the playback head either in the time slider or the graph editor, you'll see another few things happen. First, you can better see the keyframe display in the graph editor. And second, you will see that the data in the channel box is now pink. Pink indicates that there is a keyframe somewhere on this channel, but not at this particular frame. So the way that I created that keyframe was by pressing the S key on my keyboard. I am not a big fan of pressing the S key on my keyboard because it sets a keyframe on every channel the object has. This can make it very difficult for me to go back and edit my animation because there will be extraneous channels that have been animated. I don't like that, so I very rarely press S. The next way to set a keyframe is with your Shift key. Shift W will set a keyframe on the 3 translate channels. Shift E will set a keyframe on the 3 rotate channels. Shift R will set a keyframe on the 3 scale channels. I am using Ctrl Z to undo each of those keyframe sets. Incidentally, the reason why Maya will always give you a caps lock warning is that in some systems, the caps lock key is the same as the Shift key, so when you're working with caps lock on, you will accidentally be setting keyframes. Keep your caps lock off and make sure that if you want to keyframe translate, you use Shift W. For me, this still leaves extraneous channels keyframed. If all I want to do is keyframe translate Y, I can come into the translate Y channel with my mouse, right-click, and use key selected from the drop-down menu. That will allow me to set a keyframe. To create an animation, I will take my playback head, move it a few frames over, reposition the torus, right-click on Translate Y again, and key selected a second time. Now my animation will happen between frames 1 and 12. To view this, all I am doing is clicking and dragging on the timeline. In my next video, I will go through the graph editor and the playback controls.